in 9 African countries with dominance changes traditional ways of doing things and constantly works towards improving processes. To our lecturer here today, every project is a legacy. That's why he led the team that designed, built, and furnished 52 AU presidential villas in the Gambia in a record time of 4 months, constructed 210 units low-income housing estate in Yundum, the Gambia. He constructed 600 units of middle and high-income earners in Burfoot Gardens, designed and built Reef Turf Golf Estate in Port Harcourt, Nigeria, amongst others. With a renowned vision to build, with his renewed vision to build 1 million homes in Africa by 2038. Our lecturer here is currently developing cities across Africa. The Turf Salon Micro City in Freetown, Sierra Leone, the Turf City in Gunjur, the Gambia, and the Greater Turf City in Port Harcourt, Nigeria. Besides being decorated with the insignia of Member of the Republic of the Gambia, MRG, by His Excellency the President of the Republic, our lecturer and his company has won several awards, including the Pegasus UK Award of Excellence, delivering quality affordable housing projects in 2025. Africa Housing Awards Affordable Housing Company of the Year 2024. Clean Cyclist Sustainable Real Estate Developer of the Year 2024. AUHF Affordable Housing Investor of the Year 2023. NIESV Best Housing Developer in Africa 2023. NIESV Best Housing Developer in West Africa 2023. Again, NISV Special Individual Recognition Award 2023. NHA Real Estate Person of the Year 2020. GBB Best Affordable Housing of the Year 2018. CNBC AABLA Entrepreneur of the Year 2017 in West Africa. European Council for Global Business Awards for Quality in 1998. ECOWAS Honorable Business Person of the Year 2011. Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry Businessman of the Year in 1993, again in 2004, and again in 2006. Best SME Construction Company in Africa, 2004. European Council for Global Business Award for Quality in 1998. Shall I keep going? His expertise and passion have seen him traverse continents, sharing his vast experiences as a renowned developer on various platforms, as a presenter, a keynote speaker, and a panelist. Some of such platforms include the annual Africa Business Conference at the Harvard Business School, the Africa CEO Forum, and the annual Africa Business Conference at the Wharton Business School. He is also an unrepentant philanthropist who begins and believes in leaving a legacy and who has continued to impact lives, particularly youth and women, through the foundation. He is passionate about leadership and entrepreneurship as shown by the various activities carried out by his foundation, which includes TAFCON, TAF Club 10, TAF Startups, TAF Training Institute, TAF Leadership Academy, TAF Icon, and the TAF Hub. Ladies and gentlemen, invited guests, special personalities, it gives us great honor to introduce the one, the only youth man, Mustafa Njai, founder, CEO, TAF Africa Global. Wow.
What an honor. Good morning. I think I'll follow protocols by saying Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We give praise to the Almighty and the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The Permanent Secretary, Minister of Higher Education, representing the Honorable Minister, the Chairman of the Governing Council of USET, the Vice Chairperson of the Governing Council of USET, the VC of USET, members and staff of USET, ladies and gentlemen, members of the press. Within our midst is my wife, Jatu, my dear sister, and obviously my kids. Before I start my lecture, I want to also recognize somebody within our midst who's very special. And he's nobody other than Alhaji Ibu Donde. I think he should stand up. Alhaji Ibrahim Donde. And I'm not your somebody from academia who would write a speech, but my speeches are done out of instinct, out of things that I see, probably even driving my way from home to the venue. And when I arrived today, sitting on the high table, I saw Mr. Donde, and I thought we should go back to history. It will make you now better appreciate, for you students, where you are today. Mr. Ibrahim Donde was amongst 3 people who attended the vocational training school. And this was way back in the 60s. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Donde. 62. So here you are talking about Mustafa Njai being in business or having worked for 50 years. Now 62 to date, what is that? That's a long time anyway. And he's still around. And there were 3 of them. That was Mr. Donde, Mr. Makairenjai, and also Mr. Njai, Omar Njai. So they started the VTC, but later, just fast track. Some of them have got their doctorate degrees, but they started from Crab Island High School. No, not high school, Crab Island Secondary School, a middle school. That's where they started, and they were the first to be enrolled at VTC. But later, you know, Mr. Makairenjai was head of, I think, GDTI. Mr. Omar Njai had a doctorate degree. So you can imagine the humble background that they started from. So I thought it's worth recognizing him. But as I deliver my lecture today, I would want the students, because it's your day, I want you to focus more on my humble beginnings than where I am today. Because all I've heard from previous speakers was more about my achievements, who I am today. And that is actually what people know. Everywhere I go, people look at me as a successful entrepreneur, whether it's here or outside of the country. But it is important to go back and understand what made me who I am today. And that's where you are today. But it was 50 years ago that I sat where you are sitting in Gambia High School, graduating after sitting my O-level exam, and had a pass in woodwork, a passion that I developed to make me who I am today. So I want you to focus more on my beginnings, my humble background. That if Mustafa Njai or Uncle Taf or Grandpa Taf can make it to where he is today, we as graduates with bachelor's degrees in engineering and others, certificate holders, diploma holders, we will do better than him in the next 50 years or even less. And yes, some of you will be around in the next 50 years. Some of us will not be. But that is one of the things I think we should focus today. The other thing is I want to congratulate also the organizers that this is not a common thing in this country where punctuality happens. We started on time. So those of you who know me, I have a phrase where I say Gambia Fadem Diakuya. It's still a debate, others still know. But these are small signs of things that are evolving. Punctuality is key. And I am impressed that we started right on time and we're not giving excuses for being late. Now, I think first you need to understand where I come from, because I am also a graduate. I graduated not from academia, not from a university, but I graduated from what is called the School of Hard Knocks. Have you ever heard of the School of Hard Knocks? That's where I graduated from. But for those of you who don't know the School of Hard Knocks, obviously these days we are blessed with internet, with our phones. So I just did a research about Hard Knocks because I hear it being said all the time, oh, he graduated from Hard Knocks College. So for those of you who don't know what Hard Knocks is Hard Knocks refers to the practical, often difficult experiences people go through in life that teach them valuable lessons as opposed to formal education in a traditional school or college. It emphasizes learning through hardships, challenges, and real-world struggles rather than academic study. So the points are that learning through adversity, it represents education gained from life struggles, failures, and tough experiences rather than textbook or classroom. Informal education. Unlike formal schooling, this school has no teachers or degrees, just real-life consequences and lessons. Now, the third is on resilience and practical knowledge. Graduates from the school often develop street-smart grit and problem-solving skills from overcoming obstacles. Now, common usage. People say things like, he didn't go to college, but he graduated from School of Hard Knocks to describe someone who succeeded through life experience rather than formal training. An example again is, you can say, she never went to school or he never went to business school, but School of Hard Knocks taught her how to run a company. After years of struggling, he earned his degree from the School of Hard Knocks. The contrast with formal education, some argue that while the School of Hard Knocks builds resilience, it lacks structured learning, and modern success often requires a mix of both real-world experience and formal education. So that's where I graduated from. So you can call me a doctor from that college or not, but life still goes on with us. Now, when the chair and DC with others came, high-powered delegation, they came to see me at my house. What an honor. On an evening, I think it was a Saturday, on a Friday, and my Sharif, you know, I belong to the Tijaniya Brotherhood. So when the grandson of the Prophet ﷺ comes in, we bow down. So Sharif Haidar, he's one of the members of governing council. So they came in and with a high-powered delegation, and it was an honor. And it is an honor. What a great honor to stand here today and being given the opportunity to give a lecture in academia. Yes, I didn't sit in the classroom like some of you, but here I am being honored in my own country. I have had great honors outside of this country. But this one is the best, being recognized at home. So I cannot thank you more, Mr. Chair, and by extension, please extend this to His Excellency, the President. I want to start first on something that is very rare today, especially amongst young ones. And that's the quality of gratitude. Because that happens to me often, wherever I find myself where I am being recognized. I look at myself again and ask myself, why me? And this is a lesson I want you young ones to take home. Every time you are in a position of privilege, please think again and again, why were you chosen? What makes you special? Were you just lucky? But whatever happened, whatever merit you might have, there's somebody somewhere. I think we still have the mic, so I can go on. So there's somebody somewhere who has contributed to making you who you are. So let me just put a break here. And it's always good to blend these things because I am a man of many countries. You know, well, if this was to happen in Nigeria, it would be as silent as in a ghost town because people are used to it. It was my first shock of being in Nigeria. NEPA is never there. So when power goes up, you expect that, yes, it will come up again. But you wouldn't hear any noise. Like here, people started chatting. That's the matter. But in Nigeria, it's just normal. So anyway, I thought that was a soft one. And thanks for the touches, huh? Now, let's start first. What I would like to do is to give gratitude, to give thanks to people who made this to happen. And at the top of the list, obviously, is His Excellency the President Adama Barrow. Because it is during his tenure that we have seen a second university being built. So we say a big thank you. We cannot continue without recognizing somebody special, somebody who's lived, who has worked very hard in making this university a reality. And that is the late former Vice President, Dr. Badara Ju. So we pray for him that Allah grants him the highest of Jannah. The Minister of Higher Education, Professor Dr. Pierre Gomez, I have had incidences where I've walked into his office and taken him on TVET and technical education. By the way, I was the first chair of the National Training Authority, which is now, I think, NACA. So, you know, I have my own view about education and technical education. So, and I challenge the authorities, I mean, in a very disciplined manner. And we've had quite a lot of exchanges on our school curriculum. But I think he's somebody who has done very well during his tenure in promoting, you know, tertiary and TVET education in this country. Next, my thank goes to the Vice Chancellor, Chairman, members of Governing Council, the Registrar, and the members of staff of USET. Let me also congratulate parents, because those who are going to graduate today were brought up by parents and guardians, fees paid under very difficult circumstances. So I'm sure they'll be happy parents and proud parents on Saturday. Same goes to the professors, the lecturers, and the students who are going to graduate on Saturday. My appreciation goes to the University Council, again, for coming on Saturday and also on Friday. It was a Friday. Now, let's go down to the theme. The theme, which is resilience, innovation, and legacy. A 50-year blueprint for entrepreneurial success in construction and real estate. When they came in, I asked them, what shall I talk about? What lecture do you want me to deliver? And what they said was that, well, you have had the experience. We don't want to hear somebody who comes in like a professor and delivers a normal lecture. We want you to speak from your heart. We want you to share your experience. So you can imagine ever since, it was in May, it's over a month now, isn't it? Or close to a month. Everything that I have been doing as I travel around is focused on, yes, so what do I do? I even chose the theme. I was the one who gave them two options, and we finally chose one. So yes, let me now start, you know, with my experience from high school. Because when I graduated in 1975, 50 years ago, there was not even a technical college in the Gambia. And I was very passionate about woodwork. Again, the argument can go on that I was destined to be where I am today. But lessons to learn is that never drop your passion. It will lead you to greater things. So I was very passionate about woodwork. I had no inferiority complex over doing woodwork. At that time, graduating with Division 3 from Gambia High School, remember there were only 3 high schools. So graduating at the time from Gambia High Schools was like getting a degree from a university. And I had a lot of friends who went further to study abroad in some countries in Africa or even in Europe. But I stayed. And I was employed immediately by Gambia High School to teach woodwork. I think I taught some of your peers when you guys were in Form 2 or Form 3. So I was employed as a junior teacher. Then from there, I went on to Miserio, which is Lamin Technical Center, to work as a junior instructor. So my career really in construction started then in 1977 when I got employed by Balfour Beatty. Balfour Beatty at the time, you will know because in Basse, they did a lot of work there. It's an international construction firm, British, and I was employed as an engineer's assistant. But again, lessons to learn, and one of the previous speakers said it, the issue of hard work. Because of my passion in construction, in doing things technical, I would work something like between 8 to 10 hours every day because I enjoyed what I was doing. And at Balfour, I was trained as an engineer, as a surveyor, as a draftsman, as a quantity surveyor. I was more or less like a round-on-rounder. But money was being made because it was a private company, and the more you work, the more you get paid. So probably what you guys will spend learning in lecture rooms, I did it on site. So I learned everything on site with engineers, qualified engineers, and other professionals. So in 1986, which is the latter part of my working career for others, I went to Hove in Brighton to do a diploma in site management. So that's the only formal qualification I have had since leaving high school. But again, lessons to learn. The lessons to learn here is that it is important in your life as you graduate that you go through an apprenticeship, which is lacking today. Straight from uni or at your age, I meet you guys very often. First thing I see is a business card that says a CEO. Life is more of a marathon than a 100-meter dash. So what happens on a 100-meter dash? A 100-meter dash, you have to go the fastest, the quickest to hit that line. 9 seconds, and you are there. But a marathon takes you hours. What is important is a marathon is to finish the line, and then you are given a certificate. And that's what life is about. So a takeaway for you graduates is that when you leave with your certificate, see yourselves as just the beginning of entering industry. And you have a lot to learn. Sarah, I was going to ask them maybe some very few questions, but I don't want to embarrass them or the lecturers on the basic things. And probably you know as an engineer. And this I have done on site very often. I see people who come to me as contractors, as engineers, and then I ask them some simple questions like, what is the minimum lap for steel? And you'll be surprised. Because I am on site. I go to site. I get engaged. And then they start gazing at me. The next thing is, obviously, we have a small tool here. They start Googling up. But these are some of the basic things that you need to know as an engineer. Again, very basic, something that I still give honor and gratitude to my maths teachers is Pythagoras theorem. One thing that an engineer should understand is Pythagoras theorem. Sagran is laughing. So would somebody volunteer and tell me what Pythagoras theorem is? No hands up. But anyway, let's not interact yet. Pythagoras theorem, and this was something I got in Form 2 or Form 3, is opposite square plus adjacent square equals to the root of hypotenuse. Every builder needs it, because that's what gives you a square. So because I've engaged so much in surveying, in setting out, and I still do, I go on site and I do these things. At times I am shocked that I have people who are qualified who don't know how to square a building. That is a disaster. Please don't do this. Once you get your certificates, be ready to master the art, and you can still go through Hard Knocks College to understand how things are done practically. Now, since my lecture is on resilience, I will now move further and things that I was able to survive whilst in business. And there are a lot of examples. I tell people all the time that my failures are much more than my successes. You cannot count them. I have failed awfully. A good example was in 2004, I went to invest in Mali. And you know that Mali is French speaking. It's landlocked. So I went in there, wanted to invest everything. Then I was invited by the president. Then was the late Amadou Toumani Touré. So I went in, and obviously when you go to see a president who speaks a different language, you expect that you'll have an interpreter. The next thing, the protocol called me. I walked into the office, and I only found the president there, nobody else. And then he started speaking French. And what happened? I only knew my Form 3 French. And I struggled. It was a big struggle. Again, resilience. What did I do? 3 months later, I was in the south of France learning French. Again, seeking knowledge. Never say never. Because I realized that I wanted to expand in West Africa. West Africa is made up of 15 countries. Yes, Nigeria will balance everything out with 230 million. 400 million population, but 230 speak English or more. But in terms of dealing with countries, 10 countries are French speaking, whilst only 5 are English speaking. So French is a must. And I will advise you, the young ones, please start learning how to speak French if you want to operate in West Africa. So that's what I did. Again, that's a sign of resilience. I went in there, learned French, and now I can do my basic French in business. The other is on, economic downturns. I've had so many economic downturns. One that probably I should mention was when I started real estate development in the Gambia, because I'm the pioneer in private housing development. And there's a reason why I did so. Because as some of you will know, when you are into competitive bidding, there are so many struggles in getting a job. Mr. Chair, you will know, from the time of bidding for a job, the time like the administration that goes on, trying to finish the job. And even after the job, when you have finished it for months or years, then comes the retention, the defect liability period. You go through this all the time, Saran. And I got to a point where I was frustrated. And in 1997 or so, because we had a new government in 1994, things started changing. We had a military. We were used to doing business with a civilian government. That was Jawara's days. So when the Jammeh regime came, they ran the business or government like a military camp. So I didn't want to further get engaged in competitive bidding. So after a lot of study, a lot of mobilization, I started to build the first private estate here in Kanif. And it was called Sinju Yahi. Yahi meaning, that's my local name in Banjul. I've just said that in my documentary. If you go to my YouTube channel, you will understand why I'm called Yahi. Yahi meaning, yeah, bones. Tiny guy, huh? I'm glad that these days that's the fashion. You should be tiny and slim. So I call this Sinju Yahi. And guess what? After we mobilized funds from Shelter Africa, started the work, started marketing. We went all over the world marketing our product. We got a letter on a Wednesday evening that work should stop. Then over the air, it was announced that the minister was dismissed, the permanent secretary, the deputy permanent secretary, the director of lands, the director of physical planning. 5 top officials at the ministry were dismissed. So I went to bed, woke up next morning, I thought it was over. We got another letter that they have revoked the allocation. 24 hours. Next thing, on a Friday, we got another letter saying that we should evacuate everything from the site within 7 days. So just imagine what happened then. But resilience, determination to succeed. We engaged fast track the government, plus other international bodies, because international funds we are already in. And the rest is history. Financially, we've had financial problems because some of you will remember that there was the financial downturn in 2008 when markets crashed across the world. Because we started by registering an office in Dubai, started doing some business in Dubai, and then the market crashed. So what can you do? We picked it up again. So resilience is part of doing business. And until at the time that you go to your creator, you answer back to the call, you will always have problems. And we continue to have problems, but we are resilient to survive. So these are some of the things that you go through in doing business with resilience, the ability to stand economic downturns, at times regulatory changes. It happens. You just get up one morning and then, regulations are changed. And all the time it disrupts the industry. Maybe you have done your plans, because some of the things that we do now is for decades, like building 1 million homes will not be completed in my lifetime. I know that. But that's my vision. And when regulations are changed, it affects you. But you have to be resilient. You need to be there. Your strategy to build resilience, you need to be financially disciplined. That is important. As a businessman, you need to understand that not that every money that comes to you belongs to you. Business is cost plus margin. And most of the time, cost can be even 80% or 90% of your business. So you need to be disciplined, understanding that you don't start eating into your profit before the job is completed, which happens a lot of time. We remember before us, the days of old contractors. The moment they get mobilized, what do you see? Simon, you are laughing. They get a wife, a new wife. It is true. The next thing, they go to Mecca as al-Hajj. Or the next thing, they start dashing out money. And they haven't even started the job. So financially, you need to be very disciplined. Understanding that when you do your cost on any business you are doing, it's much more than the margin that you make. When we were starting our business, our margins were 25%. To these days, some businesses, you'll be lucky if you make 10%. So you need to be very disciplined. The other thing on financial discipline is dealing with banks. Because I hear this all the time, especially with startups. Oh, no, I don't have the financial ability to do something. I need some finances to start my business. No, it's the other way around. Remember, the banks, they don't give you money for free. There's cost to money, especially in this part of the world. On average, interest rates in the Gambia are close to 20% or more. In English-speaking West Africa, the average cost to money, that's the interest rate per month or per annum, is close to 30%. So you haven't even started doing business. You went and you borrowed. So you want to make a margin of 25%. Then you are paying interest rate of over 30%. So 50% is already on your cost. So then the business is not viable. I tell bankers most of the time, because we found ourselves disciplined to say no to certain financing. And the reason I say no is because banks only give you an umbrella when the sun is shining. For those of you who will find your business, find yourself in business, they will never, what do you need an umbrella for? You need an umbrella when it's raining. Never when it's raining, they will never give you any umbrella. It's only when the sun is shining, when you don't need them, that they will start running after you. They will give it to Aliko Dangote easily. Aliko Dangote doesn't even go to a bank. The moment he calls, money leaves the bank immediately. So this you need to understand, that the banks will not help you with any financing. You need to work on your cash flow forecast, which is very important. And if I go into our own business strategy, we tell people boldly that we use people's money because we built a brand. And out of our brand, we ask for deposits, people use it, and then we manage our cash flow. So that's something that you need to understand. So again, in real estate development, I mean, as you know, but you wouldn't know, but it wasn't my thing. And the reason why I want to highlight this is that I found myself in real estate about when I went to the US. I went to the US on a program called EI, Entrepreneurial International. I was being exposed to American ways of doing business. And there I was attached to a developer in Las Vegas. So I found what he was doing, then brought it back home. So that's how I moved away again from being a contractor and going into development. So that is key. Now, also the other thing is cultivating networks. Because your relationship with your investors, policymakers, and mentors are key, in resilience. In networking, I think quite modestly, I am very well networked. I travel the whole world, but more in Africa. I have been to 36 African countries. And in Nigeria also, where it's big, I've seen my Nigerian brothers and sisters are here, but very well networked. So I would like to advise that you build a network in everything that you are trying to do. You see, I time myself, but time has gone. 30 minutes I've been on the podium. I only have 40 minutes. So I'll try and move on now. So on innovation, let's look at innovation as the theme is, because it's resilience, innovation, and legacy. I would like to give an example on innovation, why you should be innovative all the time. And that's something that we have done all the time. Whilst we're moving on, we're always trying to move ahead of the competition. That is key in anything that you do in life. Don't wait until the competition catches up with you. Good example is Dubai. The tallest building in the world is in Dubai, with Burj Al Khalifa. But they are trying to build another one before anybody catches up. If you go to Dubai, if you leave a year, go back again, you will not recognize certain places. And if you fail to do so, you will end up being like Nokia. Nokia, the phone Nokia? Those of us around that age, when cell phone came around, the most popular in Africa was Nokia. Can anybody find Nokia again? They've been overtaken by innovation. The Samsungs came, the Apple came, and so on. So innovation is key. Always try to be innovative. That is why for us, when we went to Nigeria at the Riftaf Golf Estate, you can do all this stuff up in the internet. I was invited by the governor of the River State government to build on a land that is at high tide is about 2 meters high. 2 meters high. Go to the internet, you will see it. So when we said that we can build there, first argument I had was with my architects, my engineers, and they were South Africans, white South Africans. Mustafa, I better get another parcel of land. You cannot do the work here. Again, being innovative. So fast track, we sandfilled 850,000 cubic meters of sand. Dragged it from the river, pumped it 2 kilometers, sandfilled it with good engineering, raft foundations, and then we built on it. Not only that, but even the structure, we imported steel to build it. We use the apartments. Again, technology is key if you're going to be innovative. You're going to have some future engineers here. So we use this, and today, again, is history. There are 1,200 families who are living there. With innovation, again, we are now working on smart cities. If you go to Tough City, you will find that some of our houses are smart. Our gates are smart. You don't need to have a watchman to open your gate for you. You know, with your key control, you can get in. Now, let me quickly go into building a legacy. Actually, I will quickly share my 4 quadrants of life. I have what I call the 4 quadrants of life. Life is real, R-E-A-L. And based on age 80, because by the time you are 80, you will have the equation. So, first quarter, the first quadrant is between 0 and 20, which is mainly on reliance. You rely on your parents, your guardians. Let's think back when somebody is between ages of 0 and 20. You don't do much for yourself, you rely on others. The other quadrant is the quadrant of experiment that you do, experimental. And that's probably the quadrant that most of you are, where you will try things. You will try and you fail. You know, that's the time that you build a family. That's the time that even if you are in a religion, you start, you know, being an imam or a pastor, whatever, or even in business. But success never strikes most of the time within this quadrant. Now, the third quadrant, which is between the ages of 40 and 60, is the quadrant of actualization. That's the A. And that's the quadrant I call the make or break it quadrant. So some of us have passed that quadrant. So we are now in the quadrant of legacy. And that is why it is so apt, this quadrant for us. That is why legacy is important to me. When I turned 60, I was going to retire. And yes, I would sit on my balcony, look at the water, the sea, go to the beach, exercise. But you know, I was refired up again. Actually, I met somebody in Nairobi last week, and I told her that, look, I am an active retiree. She said, no, you're not an active retiree. You are a refiree. And I am fired up again. So that's a new word that I will adopt. So, and that's when I reached the stage of 60, I now thought that, look, this Mustafa Njai, this young man I told you, that graduated at the age of 18 in Gambia High School, started doing woodwork, and now have had all these successes. You've heard the MC list out all the accolades that we've got. What next? Giving back. And that's what legacy is about. What do you give back to those that built you up? Because today, whatever I have in the world is because of the Gambia. And I must look back and say, okay, there are people who do need my services, who do need my support. And what do I do for them? And I chose to deal with the youth. Because you are already leaders. We have heard most recently in leadership how the youth are fighting to poison themselves. So I decided to leave my legacy on you, these young ones. I don't want to be remembered with wealth I left behind. I don't want to be remembered by the buildings I've built. I have done it and it's over. What do I want to be remembered for? I want to be remembered for positively impacting humanity. That's what legacy is all about. So we started by setting up a foundation and committed 1% of our turnover into our foundation. So we don't knock on the DFIs, the international community, for funding. We have never been funded. We fund ourselves. Because it is high time as Africans that we show that we are not beggars. We're not looking for grants. Because there's so much wealth being generated by this continent that we should be able to fund such initiatives. So we fund our initiative, our foundation, and again, very quickly, with 7 different initiatives. TAFCON, you guys will remember, we even held it here, the last one, where we bring in, people of all walks of life, in one room, and we discuss issues that will affect all of us as Gambians. We have the tough startups, where we have funded young startups with as much as $20,000 to take away. And we've had winners before. First runner-up gets $10,000, the second gets $5,000, and the runner-up, gets about $1,000 each. We have the tough icon where we recognize, people like Elijah Ibrahim Adonde. But look, there are people who've done so well in this country, but they're forgotten. And the recipients were people like Mrs. Janet Bagan Young. All of you will know Ebujan Theatre Group. She retired from active life, from the UN. She could have taken her money, go and retire in the US with her children. But she decided to invest that retirement money into what is Ebujan Theatre today. So we honored her. We honored somebody like Okodrame, who spent all her life in music. We honored him. We also honored Mrs. Satanjau, who was my teacher, your teacher. Somebody in 1994 who was the first female education minister in 1994. So we honored her. So that's the tough icon. We have the tough disability trust fund. And now I'll just move fast. I mean, I invest a lot on advocacy. Now it can land you in some hot soup when you have advocacy, because some people think that you have another agenda. An agenda in this country or in Africa is all politics. And I have said it and said it again and again and again. And I will say it again, that I am not interested in politics. And I will never be interested in politics. Let's wait for the VAR. But I am doing things that are greater than some politicians. Actually, I get now called and paid for. I was in Dubai about a month ago, on a summit of peacemakers. Those of you who follow me on my Monday motivation, I have been releasing some on a monthly basis on peace and what it means. And I was sitting there with former presidents, like Lech Walesa of Poland. We were all part of the group. The past president of Mauritius, Amina Fakul Grip, and so many world leaders. So that's what I want my legacy to be. And legacy is important, that remember, you can build your legacy, but you will be judged by history. Because I hear this often. These days, you listen to the media, you hear so many people calling, oh, we've done this X, Y, and Z, da, 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 da. No, you should be judged when you've left. Yes, we can judge the first president and his government. We can judge Jammeh, but we cannot judge the current government. That is the reality. History and legacy is built, and then you are judged after you've gone. So remember that there is an absolute necessity to be judged when you've left, and that's your legacy. It's already 40 minutes. So can I borrow 10 minutes, Mr. MC? But I want to still go on. What's the microphone? Mic, 1, 2, 3, 4. Mic. Hello, mic, test, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello? Okay, good. Okay, now let me just move fast, and I want to now draw your attention to the Agenda 63. I don't know how many of you know about Agenda 63. It is a strategic plan, a framework that was developed by the African Union from 2013 to 2063, 50 years of the Africa we want. And this was ratified at the Heads of States meeting in Kigali, I think in 2015. Now, the Africa we want, what are the Africa we want? I mean, I will not go into Africa itself, but I thought that moments like this, whilst we're having young people like yourselves who are now going to go in the industry, who are the future leaders, you need to understand what is it that we want? How do we do things to survive? It's in the next 38 years. How do we align our policies as a government, with Agenda 63? Understanding the challenges that we have as a country. Gambia is one of the most dense populated countries in this world. Oh, sorry, in Africa. We are challenged. We're heavily challenged with that. We don't have the land. That's a major one. And our population is growing at 3.1% per annum. So in simple terms, quick mathematics, what it means is that today we are about 2.5 million in population, land mass of 11,500. But guess what? In 2063, there will be 9.5 million Gambians living on the same parcel of land. That is a problem. So we want to challenge you and the current policymakers to take this into account, understanding that the country land mass will not expand, but the people will. So simple things that we do in our area of engineering, architecture, is to master plan for the future. Because the future of the next generation lays in our hands. We lay the foundations and you build on that foundation. So I would like to urge the policymakers to quickly look around two places. USET. Identify a radius around USET, because it's a focal point, it's a pivot. Very soon you're going to have people buying land, land will shoot up. Same thing with the Faraba Banta campus. Already we have an estate there which is sold out. People are buying out. So what government should do now is to master plan this area. Just go in there and say, okay, 10 kilometers radius from Faraba Banta, we're going to make sure that it's a new city. And just plan it now. Actually, this country should be a city-state. Look at Basse. Say, okay, Basse, this is where we are now, but we know that it's increasing by 3.1%. Therefore, we're just going to master plan it. Master planning doesn't cost you much. It's on paper, or this is on computer. Master plan Makati Island Division, the 5 different regions. And that helps in rural-urban drift. Because what is happening now is over 60% of our population are living in the urban area. That is why the roads are all congested. That is why rent is so difficult. But how about if we move some of the ministries, for example, Ministry of Agriculture into Mansa Konko, and develop its own ecosystem around there? So we need to think about the future and align our policies around Agenda 2063. Again, I just want to fast track, since time is running at 45 minutes now. Let me just cite some good examples so that you graduates, you young ones who are sitting here, will look up not only to somebody like me, but there are very successful Africans. And I want you to take note of these guys. Go back and Google them up and see who they are and what they have done in a very short time. You want to look at Mr. Mustafa Njai and Tough Africa Global, started business 35 years ago. Around the same time, there are people who started business who are huge business giants. And one of them is Honorable Kofi Jondo. He was the co-founder of EcoBank. Togolese, former minister, but dynamic guy. Imagine EcoBank today. EcoBank has 40, they're in 40 countries. Great success story. And it was started in 1985. 40 years ago. By one person, one of the founders, is still alive about 91, 92 years ago. 91 or 92 years old. An African like all of us, and they founded EcoBank. Today, it's one of the biggest banks in Africa. They have an office in China, in Dubai, in the US, and also in England. They have 36 offices in Africa. So 36 countries. And what has it done today? Financial literacy and fintech. You are here and you can rapidly transfer any money anywhere in the whole of Africa through EcoBank, just by a click of a button. So the question I want you guys to leave this, when you leave this place, is yes, if Mr. Kofi Jondo can do it, I can do it. He didn't stop there. Those who travel will know about AirSky. He's a co-founder of AirSky. AirSky today, they have about 15 aircrafts in their fleet. Yes, the majority shareholders are Ethiopian Airlines, which is African, but 70 years old and still going. 70 years. Ethiopian Airlines, very successful. So there are success stories being done by Africans. And that's what I want you guys, you young ones, when you leave this hall, to say, okay, I listened to Mr. Jai, but I am inspired to say, yes, we can. And who said so and had a very great legacy? Who came up with the phrase, yes, we can? Barack Obama. A black man with his father from Kenya, ruling the US, and he completely came with so much innovation in his leadership to be so successful. So if Barack Obama can, we can. So ladies and gentlemen, I think I've really, been here more than my time. And I would just want to conclude by, again, thanking you all for listening to me. I wanted to talk more about some of the things I enjoy now, and I'm sure most of you young ones do follow me. And they follow me and say, well, Pabini, Marget, when is he getting young? Where does he get the energy? And that's my newfound passion. And probably I should just conclude with that, the use of social media. Don't underestimate social media. Everywhere that you see me, today I have over 500,000 followers. And as we speak, we're streaming live. There are people probably who are in Japan or from Caribbean or from South Africa who are listening to this lecture. Because when we planned it, we started posting it, so I saw the comments. By the time we are ready, you will see a lot of comments that are coming outside of this country. And that's the power that you have today. I get asked all the time, where do I stay now? Where's home? And I say I'm cloud-based. We are cloud-based. Because up at 3,000 feet, if you are flying an aircraft, if you're there flying, you have access to the internet. So if you send me a message on WhatsApp, I can respond. So where do I live? I live on my phone. And again, I would want to urge you to use that, your research. You need to do a lot of research. I mean, knowledge is key, and you can find everything from your phone. More so today with AI. Last year, I went to Dubai. Guess what I went to do? I went to sit in a class to learn social media marketing using my phone. So I sat there for 48 hours, intensive course. So it's no surprise that my account is growing. When I post, I know when to post. I understand the algorithms, when to post where. This is all scientific, and that's what you should use. You shouldn't be there dancing on TikTok. I have a TikTok account, 330,000 followers, and I engage them. I don't know, those of you who saw me in Salone, in Sierra Leone, I have been engaged by the government to promote tourism, and simply from my phone. So I would want to encourage you to take up use of the internet. This tool here can make or break you. I can't tell you all the stories. The last one I posted was dropping in Lome, going to see a tailor that I saw, online. I had to find my way out, do all my measurements, and jump on the plane again. So on Sunday when I return, because I'm away on Sunday, I'll pick up my clothes and off I go. My house caps, I ordered it and it was delivered, by a Kekemoto at the airport. So these are the things that are happening today in the world. I am planning to go and study, on using AI in my business, because it's a reality. There's no boundary to knowledge. Sales, I'm not doing it just because I want to do it, or just because I want to play with my gadgets. My staff will tell you that the majority of our sales, they come from my accounts. People follow me. Oh, yeah, we trust him. Imagine, guys, building 5,000 units in Sierra Leone. It's no joke. 5,000 here, 20,000 in Nigeria. And it's still counting. But I am the most relaxed person. I mean, my wife will tell you, the nice thing is that when we're in bed before we go to sleep, she's busy with her soap operas on the phone. And I with my earphone and doing my social media on the move. So please, you should use this to the best of your knowledge and also use it effectively. Again, ladies and gentlemen, it's 52 minutes. I timed myself. I went to speak for 40 minutes, but I think this is a historic moment. And I wanted to leave this hall and inspire these young ones. So in the next, maybe let's consider 10 years or 15 years, I will walk out on the Banjul beach or walking in Banjul or somewhere in the Combos and meet one of these, who's made it in life and say, Mr. Njai, thank you for that speech that you gave us, that lecture. That was what inspired me. So this is an opportunity that I feel very much honored, and I cannot thank you more. You've done a great job for me to come here. This will go into history. My legacy is being written electronically. That's why I have a YouTube channel with about 15,000 followers. So we will even buy airtime. This lecture will be aired on all the national TVs. We don't joke with these things because the communication is power. So these are all the things I want to take from here. Lastly, on a very light note, I want the MC to join. Come, I'll tell you some of the things we do. And let's tell you what we do. Come here. I want you to look at this. Come. We belong to a club. And at times, there's a work-life balance. We belong to a club. We call it Kawas Club. So we fancy wearing, these are called happy socks. So what we do, when he first came, he came with his phone and took a shot of it. And then I took a shot, and then we posted it on our group. So please, when you leave, you have a work-life balance. Finally, let me add this one because it's good. The Gambian music. The power of Gambian music. You'll be surprised that I listen to Jizzle. I listen to ST, Birkama Boyo. And what we have seen, wait for this one, just wait. Honestly, today, people like Burna Boy. When I went to Port Harcourt, he's from Port Harcourt. In 2012, he was playing in parties, being paid to play in parties. Today, Burna Boy is one of the most successful R&B players around the world. Big money. He just bought a car for $1.3 million. Filthy rich. The music industry in Nigeria, I will not tell you. But, I want to really give great recognition to ST Birkama Boyo for playing with Yusundur. Guess what? I was there at the AfriCell show. Till 1:30. Work-life balance. But before then, a week before, I was in Brikama. I was in Mandar, in St. Louis, attending a Gamo Senyi Babakar. Fi adinala. No, so, you need to enjoy it. So, again, to Jizzle for Mobeta. I was watching it actually in Nairobi, because Nairobi is 3 hours ahead of Gambia. And I was leaving Nairobi, my flight was about 9 o'clock. So I woke up at 5 to do my prayers. After my prayers, the first thing I do is on my phone. And when I went on my phone, I was watching the live streaming. And man, who wouldn't say that was powerful? And again, that's an economy of its own. Somebody wrote on his Facebook page that, look, what we are seeing now, we are seeing Gambian young people on the youth, that age bracket. They are no longer listening to the Senegalese music. They are listening to Gambian music, Gambian own. So on that note, a big congratulations to them for putting up that show at the GCI. Tough in Nairobi was watching it. I watched about 3 hours of it. I saw everything, Attack, ST, Jizzle, all the other guys, So I think it's a light way of ending this. I feel, again, very honored, and I'm pleased, it goes deep in my heart, that on this maiden Convocation lecture, you have asked somebody who graduated from Hard Knocks College to deliver this lecture instead of somebody from academia. Thank you.
We're going to hold you for a moment.
Thank you.
We are not going to let him go. We're going to give the opportunity. Please be seated. Mr. Njai is one of my favorite Gambians for one key reason: he's timeless. He's timeless how? You find him with people like me, and he comes to your level. You find him with the dreadlocks and bumpsters on the beach, he comes to their level. You find him with ministers around the world, he scales up to their level. You find him with princes, presidents, and executives around the world, he scales to their level. And that's key. He's called a youth man for a reason, because he belongs in multiple generations. And that's why I respect him a lot. We still converse, we still discuss. He has the Gambian in him, the highest possible success in the world, but the humility of a Gambian that he could meet anybody, anywhere, and strike a conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mustafa Njai, but will allow him and allow you to ask a few questions that he could answer. We have about 15 minutes. When he talked about Yusundur and ST, I saw our set of here look away. But when he talked about the Gamo Indara, I saw him looked in. So I'm like, yeah, this guy is timeless. So he goes with all generations. So yes, he does the Fajr prayers, and he does the Gamos. But who make it Dagan also is very Dagan. And we will have to allow that. Questions? You want to say something? Questions as well, please. It should be. Push it on. The big button in the middle. But you have to hold it.
Maybe you should walk in here. He's so close. Come here. Come here. You need to be more pragmatic. Just come here.
But if we can have wireless mics, it would be great for the Q&A. We have 15 minutes we could use for that. So the engineers, wherever you are, give us a mic or two from up there.
Assalamu alaikum to chair and everybody present. It's an honor and really grateful to the Almighty for being part of USET and attending this lecture. I mean, I'll take it up from where my brother, my mentor, I recall coming from university, college from UK, and he was the first guy I wrote my first application to. By then, you were in Dipakunda, and you advised me, and I followed your advice. But relating to the last point that he made, which my dear brother also picked on me, the issue of religion. I think you should add that element to your lectures. I met Mustafa Njai in Breakwall, and he was doing his wasifa, and I looked at him. And I recall telling the guy I went with, this man will be very successful. The reason why is he will not womanize, he will not take anything that belongs to somebody else, and he would trust in Allah to meet his target. And today, alhamdulillah, I think that's what he has manifested. If you hold dear to your deen, your integrity stays stuck.
May I just add, because you've just contributed to that, and I told actually some scholars in academia that we need to, in changing our curriculum, there are two things I think we should include, and I'll give you the reason why. And that is, yes, our religion, and also sports. Who is in town today? Who is in town? Sadio Mane from Bambali, who said his mom and dad were here, he was used to come, but now who is Sadio Mane in the world? Almost, he's the most popular, probably, African also. So sports can change things. So if I had my way at very early age, because I met a professor, was it Tunkara also, who teaches ICT at the university. He invited me to give a lecture to his class. He went to Normal Dara up to the age of 11. Today he's writing his PhD. He's in Dubai. He's a lecturer at the UTG. So we really need to be more innovative. We cannot just take along the conventional way of education that the colonialists give to us. I think we will improve. There are two things that is being driven by society. Religion is more popular now. Everybody wants to now relate to his Almighty, and if we find a way of inculcating, religious learning or teachings together with sports, probably will deliver better students.
Checking with anybody with questions, so we could do this quickly. Talking about Islamic education, the president launched the madrasas with the Ministry of Higher Education not long ago, maybe a couple of weeks ago or so. Any questions? You can come forward, it's easier for us, or we'll come looking for you.
I think they should come forward. If they come forward, then the cameras are on them. You can line up.
Come forward, so we see, do a line somewhere for all those who want to ask questions. So we'll come to you. You're asking a question. Okay, we'll start. They say ladies first. Ladies first. Lady first. Come first. Let the man wait.
Okay? You can put 5 together and then I just write it down.
Yeah, so go ahead.
Okay, my question is, in a society that distracts the female child, what advice do you give to the female that wants to be a leader?
Okay, thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you very much. Good day to all of you. My name is Sekou Danso. I'm the PR and Public Relations Officer, University of the Gambia. My question to Mr. Njai, it's always an honor standing beside you. With the permission of my able peers, Janaba, can you help us with something that's going to be a kind of a collaboration? Because now Mr. Njai is trying to change the face of Sierra Leone in terms of housing. We want Mr. Njai to see how best he can collaborate with the Gambia government through the Minister of Lands, because we have lots of lands lying down. And in terms of real estate, the way the lands have been given to other individuals that are occupying it or building it, and then the tax given to it, and then the amount of money spent on rental. Can Mr. Njai help us make a collaboration with the Gambia government to establish housing, affordable housing for the general Gambia population? Yeah, thanks.
We'll have 3 more questions.
Good afternoon. I'm pleased to be here. My name is Eric. I'm a staff at CBEC International School, and I was asked to represent the school on this occasion. I want to say I'm pleased to be here, and thank you, sir. And I'm hopeful that as I'm going back to CBEC, I'm going back to inspire the students so that the Gambia can have many Mr. Njais. So I want to ask the place of character in nation building. Some days back, I was at Junction Bar and I met some young boys and girls. They were advertising for a music concert. That wasn't bad. But what I saw, I was so devastated that these young children were just, along the street, they were just smoking, like it was just a norm. And I'm like, is there a future for this kind of lifestyle? If these children will continue this way, obviously, there is no hope, there is no future. So please, sir, I wouldn't know if there is anything you could say in that regard, and what could be done in order to fix this particular issue. This is on my mind, and I just want to ask this. Thank you.
Guys, just get to the question. We tough it because we have 4 people here, all 4 of you, to the point. Just ask the question so we can get away quickly, right? Say yes? Okay.
Good morning. My name is Abdul Kadir, so I'm a student of electrical and electronics engineering, USET. So my question is, as young people who are aspiring to be an engineer and entrepreneurs, because the thing that makes that we struggle with is funding for our engineering businesses, ideas we come with and the teams we use for the projects or for the businesses, because the most important thing I know is team and funding. But to pick a team in engineering business, it's always a problem for us. So what advice do you have for us for those things?
Um, Good morning. My name is Sadio Jajisi. I'm studying civil engineering college on the College of Science and Engineering. Yeah. So my question is, what is the government taking to ensure that land is available for the younger generation, given that the wealthy individuals are purchasing all the lands? Thank you so much.
Please be reminded that Mr. Njai is not a government official. He's a private person.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mr. Bubakar Jabi from the American International University, West Africa. Mr. Njai, on behalf of my university, I will thank you for being here. But my question is, I understand that many of us as students, we would want to follow into your lifestyle. But considering the fact that 50 years ago and today are two completely different periods and different dimensions. So how do we navigate into getting exactly where you are, considering AI and all other things?
Sorry.
Okay, guys, we have more people, but we have far more than enough. Mr. Njai, please accommodate 4 more, so you just bombard all the answers at once.
Good afternoon, Mr. Njai. I am a lecturer, Tahid V. Kalon, from USET. And I also want to emphasize on the key word that you mentioned, which is financial discipline. I've seen that most people, especially business people, have failed woefully because of the lack of financial discipline. And I also follow your TikTok page because I like to follow successful people, because I myself will one day become very successful in life. And I also comment the last time when you went to Sierra Leone, that which other African countries you will target. And I also mention Liberia, because they have vast land. So I don't know if you can take into consideration. And I also want you to elaborate on this financial discipline, which sometimes I do call financial integrity, because most people are lacking it.
The lecturer was trying to lecture. Please, questions and make them short.
Good morning. My name is Lalo Baji. I'm not here to ask questions, but I'm here to request something from Uncle Taff. We, the students of USET, when we come to intensive, I think we face difficulties. Then we are here to tell you that when intensive is due, we will come so that you can take us intensive and then try to employ others after finishing our school.
Oh my God, I'm actually honored to stand here. I've been following him, but I'm like, oh my God, this is the real time I'm standing in front of him. So my question is, in which time do you face a significant challenge and how you overcome it?
At what stage of your business career was the most challenging, and what did you do to overcome it?
It's an honor to stand beside the man, the myth, the legend, Uncle Taff. Yes, Uncle Taff. I'm one of the graduating cohort. I studied electrical engineering. My friends and I around here, we developed a module for a smart system or a smart housing during the ACE Impact that was held here. And it was exhibited here and in the presence of the president. So as electrical engineers that are into smart housing, and Uncle Taff, who is a mogul in real housing estate and also smart housing, we want to know what opportunities does he have for we, the students that are into smart housing.
Okay, I thank you, all of you, Mr. Taff. I normally follow you on Facebook. I thank you. It's an honor for meeting you as well. My question is, what do you think? What will be some of the possibility for some of the graduates in order tomorrow, when they are given the capability and the responsibility, when they given the capability and the capability of giving such responsibility in order for the nation to be developed. I hope I am one of the people who want to see the Gambia as developed technically in infrastructure and any other thing. Mr. Engineer, thank you.
Thank you.
Well done, well done.
Thank you, thank you. Now, Madam Vice Chairperson of the Governing Council has a question. I will take her last. Then you can do all of that. We're still on time. These steps.
Watch it.
Okay. I have a question and a comment. So I would start with the question. Uncle Taff, do you have a pill that you can give us so that we'll be more energetic as you are? Or a pill that would make people, the way you attract, people are attracted to you like a magnet. Because I see my daughter was like, oh, I have a meeting, an appointment with Uncle Taff. I'm going to go to lunch with Uncle Taff. So, and I see the enthusiasm in her having to meet Uncle Taff. And the other one is your years in Basse. You mentioned Balfour-Beatty, and I come from Basse. And when somebody talks about Basse, I feel good. I was like, this is my hometown. And that was your earlier ages in Basse. Has Basse contributed in any way in the development in your life? Has Basse done anything to you that will say, you know, I was in Basse when I was able to achieve A, B, and C? Thank you.
I think I can go on now, yes. Mr. MC Aruna. Yes. I think the first was on female leadership. You know, probably what you go through as ladies. To start with, I am a father of 5 girls. I don't have a son. You know, so, and my daughters, 2 of them are there, who are running the show here. And then in Sierra Leone, the general manager is Gambian, Ms. Anita C., who was head of marketing in the Gambia and now is managing the whole project in Sierra Leone. I have my team of ladies, 70% of my management are ladies. And between the ages of about 35 to 30. Now, you know, in this life, we should avoid entitlement. I have heard quite a number of these questions being asked based on that. In life, you go for the ball. It's like any game that you play. If you wait for the ball, you will never get it. There are successful ladies. There are successful presidents. There are, you know, ladies who are engineers. You name it. So many ladies. Jaha Dukure is a good example for you young ladies. You've seen the examples. So let us avoid this issue of entitlement. The opportunities are there. Nobody now looks down on ladies. I mean, in some legislations, even, you know, you have to have, what they call, in Senegal, they have it parity. You have it here. That in the parliament, there's a female representation. It is a must in everything you do. So really, I think we have a saying in Wolof that says, "Ñaari loxo moy taka tubey, ñaari loxo moy taka ser." So it's up to you to get up there. I have seen very dynamic ladies who are saying no to harassment, who are saying no to intimidation. If you look at the high table today, we did not tell you, look, how many ladies do we have against men who are there? There are 3 successful ladies there. So please, that's not an excuse. You have all the opportunities in the world to behave like guys. Now, housing collaboration with government, I am Gambian born. You know, I don't want to go down history. But we have reached a stage where when we go into any countries, we're invited mostly by the president. Because we've built a brand and we know that we can deliver. In 2000 and something anyway, President Madabio, when he won, he came here to Gambia, invited me because the first lady is half Gambian, and invited me to Sierra Leone. It took me 2 years to move there. Now, even with that, you know, he had to put so much pressure to take us there. Now, business is driven by demand. Some of you want to go into business. Business is not a non-governmental organization. It's not charity. There's a formula in business. Business is all about cost plus margin. You have to buy the materials. I don't sell cement, rods, or all these materials, and I have to have a margin. And I have to pay salaries. All this we have to do. So please, collaboration with government, we are more than open to collaborate with government. But I don't represent government here. I mean, I'm sure probably you should channel your question to, there's a ministry responsible for housing, and there is also a public enterprise responsible for housing. And I have challenged them publicly that for the past 8 years, we haven't seen the Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation come up with a layout. We have a right to say so because our funds are there. And this is part of my advocacy. I have approached them in private. I have spoken to them at the highest level. We need to see Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation take up their responsibility of providing housing. So that's the issue of housing. I'm a character in national building. Somebody, I think it was one from CIBEC. And in our foundation, we do realize this. We realize that, look, if we want to change the future leaders, we need to address leadership, the values in our leadership structure. Because today, anything that we see, and it is hard to say, but just listen to the hottest thing that is happening within one party. It's an issue of leadership. If you have a student leader, you will see it, whether you want it or not. It's there. So those who are asking to govern us should have certain values in leadership. So what we did with our leadership academy, we have an academy that we've been graduating. The last graduation was over 300 young ones. But again, stop blaming others except yourself. And what I see today, let me be very frank here. Our last cohort was about 350 young ones. And we pay for the hall to lecture them. We give them transport. And when they come, we give them food and also water. And then we invite eminent Gambians. I was there. I gave a lecture on communication. You know, eminent Gambians who have done so well to come and give them a lecture. But to my disappointment, if you go to my office today, even to come and pick their certificates up, there are almost 100 certificates lying there. So again, please, when I started, it was about gratitude and also avoiding entitlement. And there is a cancer in this country. It's always about what somebody can do for you, what somebody can do for you. If we go back for us, when we were young, at the age of about 12, 13, even before we graduated from high school, if we wanted money, we did what we call Bob a job. Every Saturday, we'll go around offices and houses, cleaning for them, and in return, they give us Bob. You know what a Bob is? 25 butoots. So Bob a job. So you do something to earn something. And then we started working at the docks from high school, and there are 2 days in high school, because our parents couldn't afford to give us the extra that we need. If you want to buy a good shirt, good trousers, and do your parties, our parents couldn't afford that. So what do? During holidays, we will go for a holiday job. And where? We were not working as clerks. We are working with the dock workers inside those holes. When they export groundnut cake, we will gather the sacks, 9, and then put it in the 10th one. Then when we imported rice, GPMB was importing rice, we will sweep the deck, and we got paid. So the question you should ask yourself, and there are still opportunities, what do you give in return to get something back? That's what we need today in society. I mean, what we get, the last time I said it on one of my tweets, it was very controversial, the issue of donation. I'm really overwhelmed. Today, let me just give you this quick story. I woke up, I told my wife, I didn't have $1 in my pocket. Then I realized that my fuel was gone. So we normally buy at Oryx. I went to Oryx and asked them, look, I don't have any money with me, let me go to the ATM. The ATM wasn't working. So I would have almost, got stranded without fuel. So they sent me some money and I had to buy it. The issue, we need to address the issue of efforts that we put in. And let me quickly, I prepared this, but I just skipped it. Where we need to be aware as a country, as a continent, that there are threats. Because I was going to do a short analysis of this country. But let me just pick something that stands out, and all of us need to watch it. And I try to compare two countries with a continent, that is Africa. Africa today has got a landmass of 30 million square kilometers. Africa. Now, China has a landmass of 9.6 million square kilometers. So imagine 30 and 9. Then India has a landmass of 3.3 million square kilometers. So 10 times that of India is what we have. Then the population, India is the biggest with 1.43 million. Then comes Africa, well, China with 1.41 million. Sorry, billion, sorry, yes, I mean billion, yeah. So India is 1.43 billion. Now China is 1.41 billion and Africa is 1.4. In terms of GDP, India is 3.7 trillion, China is 17.7 trillion, whilst Africa is 2.6 trillion. So let's do the math. Efforts. As Africans, we need to change. What are we seeing today? And that's the threat we have. For me, that's the threat we have. We are seeing today, India is giving us aid. Who built the National Assembly? Indians. We have bigger land in terms of the continent. We have more, about the same people, but they're giving us aid. And we boast about it. China, the same thing. So these economies are doing everything possible to come and take over this place, and it's a reality. So why are we complaining? Our land is not being taken by us, the locals. If you go now into the hinterland, anywhere in Africa, you will find Indians are buying land, mass land, for commercial farming. Here in the Gambia, the most successful commercial farming was done Indian 40-something years ago. Then they're still doing it. They're exporting mangoes straight into the supermarkets in London. And we complain. So I think there's a time that we change, and you young ones should really think about that. Yes, good policies, well implemented, but let's look at the efforts we put in. How many hours does the Indian put in? Today, all our supermarkets, they're all Indians. I don't have anything against foreign direct investment, but these are things that we can do as Gambians. So that's on the issue of housing. Then I said affordable housing. You know, affordable housing is a big debate, but the best answer I've heard is from Minister Fashola when he was the Minister of Housing. Fashola was the Minister of Housing in Nigeria in the last regime of Buhari, and he said, "How can housing be affordable when there is no affordable building materials?" I don't go to the cement from Jar Oil and they will sell me a certain price for my affordable housing and a certain price for somebody building on the beach, on luxury. It's the same cement, the same roads. Everything is the same. And even my land at Gunjur, 500 hectares, we bought it. So how can I give you affordable housing? Yes, it can be done, but you must have huge government intervention. Like both in Nigeria and Sierra Leone, the land was given by government as their equity. And there are conditions. I don't want to really go further on it. But there are a lot of questions. Funding for business, I said it. You should avoid funding. And I have said it in my lecture, that I worked for 15 years. Get a job. We've done a study, and it said this is really disappointing, that if you go to Nigeria, almost 100% of our staff on the ground are Nigerians. If you go to Sierra Leone, almost 100% are Sierra Leoneans. If you come to Gambia, Saran, tell us, you will know. If you go to construction sites, who do you find there? Huh? Foreigners. My friend, we cannot build our country like that. That's a reality. No work, no pain. Look, in challenges and resilience, you know, here, I have a scar here. Whilst I was doing construction, I fell off a 2-story building and landed on my head. And that's why I still work on site. Madam, I'll come about the pill. But that is it. You must be ready to work. So there's no formula other than to be successful. 2 things: hard work and honesty. No shortcut. There is no shortcut to success. That formula has been there from day one, and it will be here at the end of the world. So please, this issue about affordable housing, it's governments that can do certain initiatives to improve on it. Even in the US or in the advanced world, they do it. So I will elaborate further. Funding for business, I've said it already about funding. What is government doing to allow the youth to access land? You know, jokingly, this thing about the youth. You know, I think most of us who are at this age should ask for our rights. Not the youth. You know why? In this country, everything that had happened was done by the youth, even at political leadership. How old was Sarada Jawara when he ascended to the premiership? 30-something years old. Yeah, Jame, how old was he? 29. Jame, what was the name? Barrow, about 50. He was the oldest. When have we had somebody of our age being there? Yes, still the people say our time. You've had your time. Face it, we have never had anybody at the age of 60 who was at that level. Today, if you go in government, you don't see anybody like us there. You're the guys running the show. So we need to have some very honest engagement and debates. And honestly, the bottom line is hard work. If you go to Tangi, now I see some of the local boys are there, but the majority are non-Gambians. So we need to really get up. We need to be frank that, look, guys, Uncle Tuff works hard, but he parties hard. He goes to Yusundur, he listens to ST, he drinks his attire. So there's nothing wrong in doing that. But guys, you must get up in the morning at 5 o'clock and go to work. You must close late. So funding, even if they give you money at that time, I don't think you can do it. So work hard. Please take that away. It's never enough. Never be tired of working hard. It pays off. How do you navigate, as I started 50 years ago, and now opposed to AI? Well, listen, guys, you have the tools. You are lucky again. The last time when I did a lecture at UTG, I asked the class, do you know what a slide rule is? Slide rule. Remember slide rule? You remember slide rule? I am sure in this hall here today, if anybody now under the age of 25 knows what a slide rule is, please stand up. A slide rule, SLIDERULE. None. Today you guys go for exams and you have your calculators. That's how we calculated all the calculus. You have two rulers, sliding one after the other. So difficult. 3 of them. It's like a sandwich. Google it up, please. You will see. So aren't you privileged? Today they allow you to take all your calculators. I mean, there's not much brain power. So again, guys, you have the tools. Today you don't have to speak English. Actually, I was just listening to somebody on Peter Gomez talking about utilizing AI and local languages. Today, AI, very soon you can speak to him in Wolof. So his debate was that, look, you don't need to speak English now to move. You can speak to AI, ChatGPT in Wolof, and then you get anything you want. So you are privileged. You guys are privileged. Look at this hall that you guys are sitting to listen to a lecture. Please appreciate what you have been given. Sadio Mane is where he is because he trains like mad. So that's what we should bring up. That look, yes, we ask for government and the policymakers to bring in the policies so that they will ease ways of you guys being successful. But I think hard work is what I want to leave you with. Whether will you go to Liberia? As I've answered it. I mean, every time we go live, I'm sure now Liberians are saying, when are you coming to Liberia? Business is driven by demand and the environment. Where the environment is not, we will not go. And it is done based on assessment that is done. Actually, I am not the one who takes the decision. In every country we go, what do? We send in consultants like Mr. Chang, who will go there and collect the data. Because data is key. There's no guesswork here. Everything we do is done with data. And these days we use social media. When we went to Sierra Leone, to get the names, because all our names for the houses are named after ladies. You know me, I'm very biased with ladies. If you go to Sierra Leone, it's Saleh, Hawa, Sia, Fatima, Mabinti. If you come to Gambia here, we have Awa, we have Majula, we have Njilan, we have Nima, we have Binta. If you go to Sierra Leone, we have Charity, we have other female names, I've forgotten. But anyway, the thing is, so when you went to Sierra Leone, people ask, how did you get the names? I just went online. And they said, look, can you suggest which local name do you want us to name our houses? And we had hundreds of thousands of answers. So we assessed them, and the most popular was Fatima. So the biggest house was named Fatima. Then the second best was Mabinti. Then third was Sia. Then Hawa, then Saleh. But others were there. So, and again, everything was done from here. And this brings me back to the tools that you guys are privileged now, and use them properly. Don't be dancing behind their TikTok, whatever. Use it, it's there. Anything that you ask today using AI, ChatGPT, even DeepSeek from China, everything is there. Just go in there. If you type now ChatGPT, who is the biggest affordable housing developer in Africa? We are among the 2 or 3 that pops up. And they will give you details. So use them. So now, where will you go back to Liberia? That's gone. Internship. Yes, we took some interns from here, you said. So that's not new. We're taking interns. We have always taken interns since in the days of, what's his name, GDGI. My boss, now I call him my boss, started with us as an intern. You will know him, Amadou Djigo. He started with tough as an intern, but on some other side, on marital matters, he's my boss. And he's my Taliban friend from Tuawan. We all connect in Tuawan. So we have always been taking interns. Actually, if you look at my posting on TikTok, there are 4 ladies that I featured who came from USET. I don't know where they're here. They were doing, I think, engineering and architecture. Yeah, 4 of them. We've been doing interns. So yes, we cannot take everybody into interns, but we are committed in building capacity. So we do it all the time. So facing challenges and how did I overcome it? I face challenges every day. Challenges, I mean, I've said it in my lecture. Challenges are there. And not only with challenges, why Natu? You know what Natu is? What is Natu? What do you call Natu in English? Who's good in here? Natu. Where you hit with bad luck. It's part of life. You're just unlucky. I mean, those who were flying the air in India, 240 something, was it their fault? They were just unlucky. So that's one thing in life also that happens. But what is important, as long as you have your feet, as long as you get up in the morning and you open your eyes, what do I start with? Gratitude. Think about more about what God, Allah the Almighty has done for you. There are some people when they get up in the morning, they cannot even open their eyes. They are fed through a tube. My friend, get up and work. Be thankful. There are some people that you have not done anything better to be where you are. So again, I think that's one thing that you do. Challenges are there, they'll be there forever. If I tell you, some people ask me how I do this, but the challenges I have in moving around the world is now my back. All that glitter is not gold. My wife will tell you this. When I get up, she goes, Margaret, Biserko. I struggle these days because I sleep in different mattresses. And it's affecting me. And then the suitcase that I carry all the time. Because I will leave on Sunday. Sunday I leave for Lagos. Then from Lagos I go to Port Harcourt, 2 days. 2 days later I go to Abuja. And then from Abuja I head out to Cotonou, Benin. Then go back to, I think, Port Harcourt, and then Turkey, England, coming back. You go everywhere. And actually I'm feeling it. But one thing, my secret is sleeping 8 hours a day. I sleep well. I do 5 hours first, then I get up. I have to get up in the morning to do my fajr, and then I do my wasifa and my wurza. But I sleep again. So when I go off in the morning, oh boy, I'm heated. So sleeping is a good advice. Try to have a work-life balance and limit some stress. Opportunity for students in smart housing. Guys, you have to compete with the world. Entitlement again. Today, If I want something done, I can put it on my social media handles, and somebody will respond from Australia and say, Mr. Taff, I've seen this, I can do it for you. Writing softwares and doing these things. And because you are competing at the global level, at times, and we've seen this, locally you are charging, let's say, $1,000. In India, again, 1.4 billion people, very smart, they will charge you $100. Actually, a sector that has been affected seriously by this is the travel market. There is an Indian group, because they deal with volumes. Most of the travel agents now, they've gone under. This group is here, but they're everywhere. So again, economics, they buy bulk. So I'm sure they go to the airlines and say, look, we can give you 3 million travelers. So they will negotiate the price down. But you are here in the Gambia, and how many travelers do we have? Few hundreds. So you need to be competitive. And saying all this, there are Gambians who are very competitive. You know, there are Gambians who are in the international world who are doing wonders, and they are competing with the others. Opportunity for students, that's it. Developing infrastructure. Somebody said this. What Basse has contributed to my life. Actually, I told you this idea. Gambia has contributed a lot to my life. And I want to see this country as one. My first posting was in Kudang. From Kudang, we went to Badsang, Kerewan, Bara. And those days, it was all laterite road. They will tell you that you have Ovaltine on you, and we were traveling at the back of trucks. But we did it. So, there's always been hard times. Basse, yes, high level. I will leak your secret to the ground. Musa Refet, dear Sawade. You know, we're all the age bracket. Pretty young lady. You are laughing, huh? Shall I stop? Okay, all right, okay, I'm stopping now. But anyway, so that was on a lighter note. It's always good to end this on light notes. Again, I hope I have done justice to your responses. I am available on all my social media handles. I respond to almost every comment that comes in. But there are some that I don't need to. That's the thing about social media. I hear all sorts of things, but I'm not there to respond. I build my own content. Yesterday, let me end with this one. I had something that was very touching to my heart. Because I do this Monday morning motivation. Every Monday, I do a 2-minute clip. The first one was in Nairobi when I met an executive director of a big bank. And then she says, Taff, I will tell you that you made the difference in my friend's life. Because every time you send me, a Monday motivation, I send it to my group. And there is this friend of ours who's battling cancer. And very stressed because he had a relationship and it went sour, But it was the last one I did was on forgiveness. And she said, when she listened to it, now she's really sold on forgiving whatever happened. The one I got yesterday was from a lady who's a sickler. And she sent me a message and said, Uncle Taff, I got your number from XYZ. I am a sickler and I'm going through this. Can you please raise your voice on the awareness for sickle cell anemia? So by next week, I'm going to record, I'm doing research on it. And that's what I do again for my legacy, advocating for good in humanity. And I think if we all adopt this, that let us always ask ourselves, what can I do to impact, 1, our community, 2, our country, 3, the continent, and maybe 4, humanity. So on that note, thank you very much and God bless you.
One, two.
Thank you. We are now about 20 minutes behind, but we are happy to be behind because 20 minutes in Gambia means we are on time. And I'd like to acknowledge many years ago, I had to ask Mr. Njai this question: how is the division of labor at home? And he told me there and then, Me and my wife have an understanding. I said, what is the understanding? He said, we run 2 ministries at home. So I am the Minister of Finance, and Madame is the Minister of Interior. So Madame will look after everything household related so that I can be out there to do what I do. And for that reason, Mrs. Njai, if you could kindly stand up, we need to recognize that all the success and all the glitter cannot happen without the Minister of Interior. Mrs. Njai, we'd like to see you if you can stand. I think Mrs. Njai doesn't like to stand, but she's here and we know her contribution to what makes things happen. And to all the young couple here, I would like you to copy that. There's a partnership at home, and the partnership must be utilized as best as is possible so that each will play to their strength, and that's what makes the partnership work, that's what makes families work, that's what makes communities work, that's what makes companies work, and indeed countries also evolve around the world. And again, Mr. Njai, I would like to thank you very much for the lecture and for the inspiration to the next generation of engineers, architects, and business persons that are here with us today. And therefore, that leads us to a much lighter note. Humbata Dagan. Mr. Sirif, you'll forgive us for the next 5 or 10 minutes. We have to do some rupuch here, and you may not approve, but it will take place. You approve. Thank you. So you don't have to dance, just wiggle your toe, and it will work. Ladies and gentlemen, with pleasure, we'd like to invite one of the biggest talents in this country. Yes. Wonders. He's starting already. I did not even introduce you yet. And in the person of Barhama, really great voice, great export of the Gambia. We'd like to invite you, Barhama, to give us a song or two, and then we will try to close this ceremony here on a very, very nice, warm, and entertaining note. Barhama, are you here somewhere? If you're not here, I can try to sing with my terrible voice. No, my voice is horrible. You know, growing up, and people will tell me,
Hello. Yeah. 360 rifle. Sama jigéen oytul ni nga sege di ko regi moo tax ma allo ne li mo gaañi ba set moo tax ma wiin greetings to everyone. Hello everyone. Okay, I'm honored to be here. By the way, I'm saying a big thanks to my fellow youth man out here. Okay, tough. Thanks so much. Okay. My name is Barhama Cham. Most of the time before playing my songs, I just want you guys to have a vibe with me. By the way, I have the sweetest voice in the country. You know, yeah. Are you ready? Are you ready to vibe with me? Good. Salam alaikum, everybody. Salam alaikum, you see now. Salam alaikum, yen wa borbi. Salam alaikum, yeah. Salam alaikum, yeah. Salam alaikum, yeah. Salam alaikum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Touch you listen, man. How was that one? Very nice, nah? Because when we talk about Gambia, this is what we do. Play the sound like that without greeting. So then from there, mayu wadlen fan. This is a song that always reminds us about how beautiful it is to be patriotic. And of course, it was done by a legendary Gambian musician who's no more, but I was lucky that he was one of my mentors. And he is no other than Jad Usunjai Senior. He reminds us of being patriotic. And the song is like this. Gambia Sumareo, Sapunala Chiola Judo. Uyuma, Hamlin song, but you know what I want? I want to hear. Tere. Are you ready? Gambia Sumareo, Sapunala Chiola Judo. Gambia Sumareo, Nabnala Dr. Yola Am. Gambia Sumareo, Buganala Dr. Yafigan. Center and Bana, let's have one more time. Then from that one, you know, sometimes this is communication, this is music. Sometimes, you know, it's about telling the people about the lyrics, you know. So he sang another song called Hale Africa, just from watching Uncle Tough at Lecture MBA. So I'm trying to give you songs that one way or the other relate to what he was saying about being Gambian, being patriotic, being African, and recognizing that. There is another song of his called Hale Africa. Baka benakol tubabi nakone yeye khajalelen benyi dilaka France ni Portuguese ni Italian nailan andando wo changen dengan changa. Thank you, one more time. Then the last song, the last one that I'm gonna do is an acapella of mine, because before coming here, I was watching the news, you know. I've seen some things that really hurts me. You know, the war is one. I realized that when war is happening at one side, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be directly involved in order to you are part of the war. And we have seen countries bombing each other, you know what I'm saying? And then the peace of the world is one way or the other being shaken. So I have this thing that I've created. It calls peace. Many. Let's drop the guns, drop the bombs. Let's drop the wars in endless tones. The preach of peace is what we believe. There is nothing nicer than it. Yeah. Let's drop the head and endless smiles. Stretch around 9 million miles. The preach of peace is what we believe. There is nothing nicer than it. Peace, it what unites the world. Peace, this is a gift to every soul. Peace, precious more than gold. Peace, for the young and the old. When time goes to sleep and young people come together, hearts unite in one to make the future brighter. The love gets deeper and the bond gets tighter. The love gets deeper and the bond gets tighter. We are the youths, we are the voice, we are the change and we got the power. Now is the time for us to make a move. We're not waiting for tomorrow. We can make it act a world and we will grow bigger when hearts smile at each other and hearts clap together. That's it. Then now time ambience, huh? Kuba bekelele fa kuba sike. Kuba bekelele join in song. Technician, play the sound. You them. Then and again. My guys. Guys, can I continue doing what I do? Kuba bekelele for Kuba sike. Kuba bekelele join in song. Kuba bekelele for Kuba sike. Kuba bekelele for Kuba sike. Kuba bekelele. Once millions of country, meta min duala, what duala jabita, what a negativity far away, happiness better, more love and more money, you have done yourself, you know, some of the to a job on him, Paraco, what I'm inventing, you know. You know, some of you say, but make your business, Jamal, they know the same. Holiday. I think the acapella was nicer than the sound, right? Anyway, let me play the last song called Free Up Your Mind and Be Ready to Enjoy. Free up your mind and be ready to enjoy. You know, youths love this. Big man, hit me up with enjoy. You just got in there. Wow. Anyway, I'm saying a big thanks to each and everyone for inviting me here. God, you know, all work, no play, make jacks a door, but I also want to say something before Majohe might be. As musicians, we also have a big responsibility to play. What we sing about make a lot of sense. Not lamga. We have to be responsible of the lyrics that we sing. So man, I've been a musician, but also be, you know, an advocate to make sure that my lyrics are something that can change people in a positive way. So seeing Uncle Tuff, who's not just an uncle to me, but he's really open. You understand? That's why I call him my fellow youth man out here. And then my brother out there too. Bro, no tax today, huh? By the way, you know, clap for Haruna one more time. And touching the table, it was, you know, I'm really happy to be here. My name is Barhama, to those that I've never heard of my name. And then get this one. How is the voice? By the way. Thanks so much. I love you all.
Thank you, Barham. One of the students who was meant to graduate on Saturday had tragically lost his life after collecting his gown, and he was meant to be among those honored on Saturday. So we'll ask everybody to do a minute silent prayer for the departed in the person of Buba Jawara. Please, shall we pray for him? Thank you very much for your prayers. Shall he be welcomed in the highest heavens. We'd like to now invite the director to give us the Director of Science, Technology and Innovation, Mr. Samba Soul, to deliver the closing remarks. Mr. Soul, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I stand on existing protocols. So first of all, thank everyone, especially the students, all invitees, the Honorable Taf, for gracing this occasion. Today's event solidifies a lot, both in terms of our national development strive, but also as a ministry, it's a landmark achievement. Because the establishment of USET went through a trajectory. And if today here we can convene in the four corners of this plenary hall at the South Dakota Kairaba International Conference Center to honor our own Gambian as the first inaugural lecturer for the first Applied Science Engineering University, it's something that we should embrace together as a country. Secondly, the event solidifies a very key parameter for socioeconomic development. We have many critical players here. We have academia, we have industry, we have civil society, and the community at large, including parents. And that forms the core pillar for the delivery of engineering curriculum. As a ministry, we do not take for granted today's event because for the first time, we will be graduating the first homegrown engineers in the Gambia, trained through practical internships by industries in the Gambia, including TAF, and I can verify that. But also, the confidence that the Gambian people have in an emergent university with all the needs, but ensuring that they take their students there until we reach where we are today. It's something that takes us at a very solid foundation for setting up the entrepreneurial university that USET has been established under since 2020. Now, coming to the specific closing remarks as a government, I want to take the opportunity to thank the Governing Council most especially because the choice for TAF came from the Governing Council. And this has been validated by the Chancellor as reiterated by the Vice Chancellor when the briefing with the Chancellor was done 2 days ago. But also with the turnout here, that shows that there is preparation for inspiration among the students. And I think with what the lecturer has brought out here, there is a lot to learn from and the potentials are very high. For USET, the technical arm has been laid, a new multipurpose campus has been built with state-of-the-art equipment installed, a curriculum has been validated, and we are not sort of youth and competent people to go into the program. What remains now is a collective approach. Today's event is selling out the USET program to the Gambian people and beyond, because USET doesn't always stand for Gambian people, it stands for the world at large as an entrepreneurial university within the sub-region, with a peculiarity, because the delivery of the USET program is embedded entrepreneurship in nature, and that's 75% of what Alaji Mustafa Njai mentioned here is more on entrepreneurial attributes, and I can comfortably say that most of these attributes and their technical approaches are indexed as part of the USET curriculum delivery. So I can say we are in the right direction. Associated policy programs to support the USET includes, I've had questions from students here mentioning about seed capital. It's always a problem. Wherever money is mentioned, it's always problematic. But as a government, we have set up a National Research and Innovation Fund that will support all actors of the entrepreneurship ecosystem. not prioritizing or stereotyping public sector, but for public and private sector with equitable access. The only parameter is you must submit a proposal for a viable project that can lead to employability and job creation. And this act was just ascended 2 months ago by the president, and it will be into full rollout next year, God willing. Now, the TVET revitalization agenda, we've all heard about it, and the passion that it is coming from the level of the ministry. Because the understanding is that you cannot set up an engineering university that's only focused on the degree awarding, whilst the technical arm is not strengthened. So within the prefix of the national qualifications framework, the entry pathways have been widened from informal sector, from recognition of prior learning to the formal sector. You can crisscross from any level and enter into general education, into TVET education, or TVET education into general education. So this is the foundation that the government of the Gambia has laid for youth in this country. Now, for the purpose of bringing in somebody who has been successful to come and give this inaugural lecture is for inspiration. The third arm to entrepreneurship is mentorship. Somebody who has succeeded, who have gone through it, to mentor you and coach you. And this is the practical example that have been brought up here. So I encourage students from the university to take advantage of what they have. As young as I am, when I was in the University of the Gambia, I never had the opportunity that students now have under the current dispensation. So we encourage you to be motivated because you have a pool of resources. The level of equipment that have been put at the new university that will be inaugurated on Saturday, or commissioned on Saturday by the president, has a state-of-the-art equipment for engineering, but also for entrepreneurship, both in terms of prototyping, 3D printing, and ideating. And it is open to private sector. It's open to other institutions, not only for USET. All what the government or the ministry is saying that every entry into it must be done through organized approach, through the custodian of the hub, who is the University of Applied Science, Engineering, and Technology, to ensure that there is sustainability and it serves the purpose for what it has been brought. Now, to conclude, we will continue to support as a government this initiative and to thank Mr. Njai for taking up the challenge. We are returning the same challenge to him to ensure that he continue to support USET, because he have lived the part of technical skills, he lived the part of innovation, he lived the part of entrepreneurship. And these three tires are very core to us. And this is why we sold out an idea to the World Bank, Mr. Njai, in which we are rolling out what you call a skills, innovation, and entrepreneurship fund. A three-tier approach that can solve almost 75% of the challenges that the students have raised to you here. It's a pilot, one that looks at supporting students to undergo TVET programs, widening the access, offering them scholarships. Another tier that can build the capacities of the institutions across the country. And the third one, which is going to be on supporting on startup capital. And with the approach and technical rollout that it is already taken, I think partnering with people like you, it will be something that can be annexed as part of our national development processes. Now, to conclude, yes, finally, remember, USET is for the Gambia as the second public university, but the only engineering university, and the students form a critical component of it. So you are encouraged to be motivated and keep in mind that the statute for setting up USET is to be entrepreneurial and be entrepreneurs and create jobs for socioeconomic development of this country. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for stealing 1 minute of your time.
Thank you, Director. I heard somebody jokingly said you're the director of USET, but it's very evident now that you are actually director of USET, We're very encouraged by those words. Since the last few days, I've grown a few more inches of respect for the management of USET. I haven't interacted with them before. For me, professionalism is determined outside 9 to 5. I was receiving text messages at midnight. I woke up very early in the morning, sometimes at 5 a.m. The text messages will come in from two people, the Vice Chancellor and the Deputy Vice Chancellor. Now, I want to thank him first before I invite him, because since I was saying yes, sir, ma, now I have to say yes, sir, sir. So the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Ado Abdul Fattah, to give us the vote of thanks.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I stand on the existing protocol. Firstly, I would like to thank the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, MOHAS, and the USET Governing Council for giving us the approval and the support to have our convocation, of which this lecture is part of it. We thank the two organs for making this possible. I would also like to thank the USET convocation committees for working together to get to us where we are. We have already recorded a success today, and we have planned and we pray to have another success on Saturday. That is the main convocation. My special thanks go to TAF Africa Global Foundation for supporting us in many ways. We have received a lot of support from him. My Vice Chancellor has mentioned just a few. We have also learned, our learning process started from the day USET was introduced to him. That was 3 weeks ago. His media team created a WhatsApp group on that day and started sharing visit photos, announcements, inquiries, and a lot more. I would love to have that WhatsApp group to continue, but I know it will not. But I hope to have another chance of interaction with TAF Africa Global. Despite what we have received and learned from him, as a father giving to his kids, nothing will be more. So I have two appeals. The first one on behalf of the Convocation Planning Committee. USET has its own strong media team, but still we believe in his own team. So I appeal that Uncle Tav will provide us media coverage during our convocation. My second appeal is on behalf of USET students. Out of respect, we introduce students as the last, but in terms of relevance, they are the first, because no one will be there without them. So I appeal to TAF Africa Global to think of constructing student hostels in USET under any arrangements. Then my last point is announcements. We have planned to distribute invitation cards to our graduates. So this is going to be through their head of departments. The cards are ready. We are going to start the distribution right away after this program, and distribution will continue tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to have a rehearsal for the graduates at Brikama campus, arrival 9 a.m. So we encourage our graduates to participate in the rehearsal because it is going to help us a lot. So card distribution is immediately we get out of this hall. And we also encourage our students and all invitees to attend the convocation on Saturday because of its importance. Thank you, and see you on Saturday.
I heard 9 a.m. You better be on time. These people are like soldiers. They start on time. Now, I'm not sure if the technicians are on standby for us with the two anthems. I'm not sure. But we're very grateful for this opportunity. And I want to say to all of the people graduating on Saturday, congratulations to you ahead of the graduation. You've done well. Now, let's see you again in the next 5-10 years. And for everybody here, please promise yourself that you're going to buy a house, and the house you're buying is coming from Tough Africa Global. Amen? Amen. I didn't hear, it's not loud enough. But we all need houses, no? Good. And we want to see all of you become multimillionaires so that I did hear Mr. Njai say he's not sure where he's going to be in the next 50 years. I can promise you I'll be here. I'll be a witness. So please, when we come to lecture in another 50 years, let's all meet here. Amen? Okay, it's not a lot of amens I'm hearing. You're not confident? You are young, you are healthy. 50 years is nothing. If you ask Mr. Njai, he'll tell you, I remember Balfour Betty like it was yesterday. I remember Basse and Kudang and Kerawan like it was yesterday. Time flies. It doesn't? If the engineers are ready, can you please kindly play us the USET anthem? If you are not ready, where Professor Ronke, we are standing, please, ladies and gentlemen. You said how bright my foundation, guided by true heart, we strive, we hands and minds united, we know this silence and praise united. Kindly remain standing for the national anthem of the Republic of the Gambia. National anthem, please. Kindly play the national anthem, please. The national anthem of the Republic of the Gambia, please, guys. I'm not sure Professor Ronke Awopetu can lead that. I am not sure. Thank you everybody for coming. Thank you to our special guest, inaugural lecturer, Mustafa Njai. Thank you to the Ministry of Higher Education. Thank you to the management staff, professors of USET, and congratulations to all of you graduating on Saturday. Now you're free to take your selfies, and a group photo is organized outside. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Hi there. Yeah, they're fine. Yeah, they're doing well.
Mr. Drame, Mr. Drame, where is the group photograph?
I think it's outside.
Outside? Yes. Okay.
This is the group was.
Be careful. Yes, sir.
It's too small here.
Yes. It's very good. Can I just thank you so much? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yes. Chairman. Okay. I'm glad to hear it. You're here? Good. You around? I see you. Okay. That's good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. That's good.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah, okay. All right. All right. Chairman, come here. Okay. Because once the picture starts, you will. Why don't we do the group outside? Because we can go. Yeah, please. Yeah, yeah.
You go. Yes.